So these organizations, we call it as a
这东西
virtual
可以称我的
organization.
吗？
So the virtual organization is a small core organization that sources out major business functions. It is highly centralized
我
organization
想不
with
到。
little or no departmentalizations. So it has it maybe it is running from somewhere. There is a office
哎，
in a centralized way. It is running, but it is capturing the entire country. Okay,
哇，这8集这么久。
they may have one office, they may have one or no department, but they are running a business. So the virtual organization creates a network of relationship which allows them to contract out manufacturing, distribution,
20
marketing, or any other business functions where management feels others can do it better or cheaper. Now, in this organization,
Thank you.
they have a network of relationships. Okay, network means what? Like Amazon doesn't manufacture its own product. What it does, it has a network. It has a network with various producers, with various other businessmen, and they Amazon, what they do, they put their product on their portal and they sell the product. Even they don't even have the you can say warehouse of putting that product. They are just clicking the pictures of the product and they are putting it in their portals. And whenever there is a whenever you order any product, they contact to the actual manufacturer, or you can say wholesalers who are connected with Amazon, and they contact to them and they give your address that you have to send your product to this particular customer, and they send it through with the help of Amazon. They used to send it to the customers. Similarly, Flipkart also do. Similarly, you can see Meesho is right now. Meesho is also doing the same thing. In Ola and Uber, what they do, they don't have any taxi of their own. The Ola doesn't have any of taxis of their own. What they do, they hire the people with the taxis. They hire the drivers with the taxis, and they say that I will give you business, I will give you the contact details of the customers, and you have to go there and you have to pick them and drop them. So they have made it, they what they do, they make the things easier for these taxi drivers. What they do, they have a car, they know the driving, but they don't know whom to take to the ride. So they are connected with this Olas and Ubers, and what they do, they provide them the business, they give them the business, and they are doing that, and they have a commission system. So this is what they create, a network of relationship. And they also, they don't have any manufacturing unit, they do have a distributing marketing. Okay, so they means whom they are contacting, the network they are creating the network with the manufacturing unit, with the marketing unit, and they are outsourcing the functions. Okay, they don't perform all the functions own, they do outsource their functions who are good at doing that. Okay, they have given the contract to the manufacturers because they know that they cannot manufacture the thing, they are better manufacturers, so they outsource their manufacturing unit, they outsource their marketing units. So what they do, they develop a kind of organizations which is creating a relationship among all the networks, and it is doing a business. Is that clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in a typical bureaucratic organization which has many vertical levels of management, research and development is carried in-house, production occurs in company-owned, plant and sales and marketing are performed by the company's own employees. In contrast, the virtual organization outsources many of these functions and concentrates on what it does best. One of the major advantage to the virtual organization is its flexibility. One needs just an innovative idea and little money to successfully compete against large companies, the disadvantage of this structure is that it reduces management's control over key parts of its business. So one advantage is that you don't need a bigger amount to start this kind of a startups. You need a small amount, but a very innovative ideas where you can implement your business with. Okay, but how the disadvantage is that it doesn't have the control means, suppose you are dependent upon the manufacturers for your products. Now what kind of a product they are manufacturing, what is the quality of their product, you cannot control on it. Okay, because you are dependent on them. No, they are manufacturing the products, they are putting their quality control. You don't have any quality control. Suppose you order something from Amazon and it doesn't turn out good, so what, does Amazon have any fault in that? No, because he is only responsible for sending you the product. He is not responsible for the quality of the product. Why? Because it is not manufacturing the product. Okay, so whoever the manufacturer is, he is responsible for the quality of product, not the Amazon. So there is a easy return policy. If you are not satisfied with the quality of the product, you can easily return it to the easily return it back. But that is not controlled by the Amazon or Flipkart or any other virtual organization. You can say even from Swiggy or Zomato, you order some food items, they are giving your orders to a particular restaurant and that restaurant is providing you the food. So Swiggy or Zomato is not responsible for if the food is not good, if the quality of food is not good, isn't it? So this is how they don't have the control over the business. They don't have the control over the quality of the business or quantity of the business, anything you can say. So there is a minimal control over there they have. So this is the disadvantage of this virtual organization. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now comes boundaryless organization. Boundaryless organization means that organization which eliminates the boundary. Eliminates the boundary means it may eliminates the department boundaries also. It may eliminates the geographical boundaries also. It may eliminates the country's boundary also. So when there is a cross functional team, when there is a team forming, then they are removing
ইয়ার
the
কি আমার সাথে
boundaries
প্যারাই
of
মারছে
this
নাকি?
departments,
পুরোটা
boundaries
ক্লাস
of
করছে না
this
আমরা কম্পিউটার।
hierarchy, isn't it? So this is something we call it as a boundaryless organization, where the business is running on a global basis, you can say on a global format, and they may have a team, they may have a hierarchy also, they may have a team also, the top and lower level peoples come together also. Why? Because sometimes what happens that if you are going to make any decision for your organization, you have to form a team which contains the people from the lower level also. Why? Because they have the experience of that particular segment. Okay, no, they will tell better. Like if you have to do something with electrical part in your house, you wanted to install some electrical items, who will you call? You will call an electrician. You won't call an engineer for it. You will call an electrician for it. He will better tell you that, okay, this will be placed over here. I can put this, things like that. I can install this, things like that. So he is the one who is knowledgeable person. The electrician is the knowledgeable person. The plumber is the knowledgeable person to fix up your taps and all, to do the this kind of a work. So when you need these kind of a people, you won't find engineers. You will always need electrician or plumber for doing it. Similarly, in the organization, when you're going to take such kind of a decisions which involves the basic technicians people, if you're buying a machinery and you wanted somebody to see it, to have a look that whether this machinery is in good condition or not. Now how will you find? The person who is working day and night on the machineries, he will be capable of judging that whether this machinery is in good condition or not, whether how it will function, and whether it is a good machinery or not. So when they come together, now they can form a team. While buying that machinery, they can have a team where the top level management is also involved, the financial management. Shubham is saying that, Shubham, are you taking care of the attendance? Is Shubham Bose is taking care of attendance?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Then why is writing to me that can you tell CR to take the attendance because my network is not working properly?
I think, ma'am, he is having any network problem. That's why he is telling.
Okay. So that is how they are reducing, they are uh, eliminating the boundary of the organization. They make a team of the people where the top executive, the middle managers, the supervisors, everybody involves in taking such kind of decisions. So and even when there is a means, suppose you wanted to open some business in other part of the country, or you wanted some business to open in other country only. So there are various constituencies. Means if you are going multinational, so you have to think about their culture, their rules and regulations, their laws. So which is different. Okay, means suppose you are having a business in India, so here the laws are different, here the rules and regulations are different, here the taxes and policy is different. And your another unit is in China, so there the law is different, there the taxation policies are different, there the rules and regulations are different. So you have to act accordingly, right? So that is also called as a boundaryless organization, where you have to, means your organization is at a global level following, at every means country you are following some of their things and some of your things. Okay, there is a mix and match of the things. Like you are working according to their rules and regulations and policies, but also you are working according to your rules and regulations and policies, your policies of the company's policies, you are working accordingly. So this is something which is, you are doing it as a boundaryless. So that is what we call as a boundaryless organizations. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Even you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
say that the customer cares, the call centers, they are also acting as a boundaryless organization. They are working on a shift basis. Why they are working on a shift basis? Because they are connecting to the other countries at the night. They are connecting to India or the other countries in the day, and they are connecting to US and other countries, the Western countries, at night. Why? Because they are working 24/7, right? So when they are working 24/7, the Indian people are sleeping at night, but other part is waking up. They have a official timing, so they are working according to their timing. So they have also this boundaryless things in their organizations. That is a boundaryless organization, we can say. Is that clear? What is boundaryless and what is virtual organization?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
in case of virtual organization, can we say it is the e-commercial site like Amazon, Flipkart?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Okay.
I've already given you that example. Amazon, Flipkart as a virtual organization. Anything, any doubt you have to ask in this chapter? Or anything from the previous topics which we have covered in this organizational structure? Now, you have to give submit one assignment for your CA2. The assignment is that you have to compare all the organizations with each other, write the similarities and differences of all the organizations. Okay, all the structures of the organization, similarities between line and staff, similarities between formal and formalization of organization, similarity between boundaryless and virtual organizations, and differences between them. So like this you have to prepare the similarities and differences between the organizations, and you can submit it to me on, today is Tuesday, so submit it on Thursday. Okay, you will submit it to your CR and she will submit it to me. Is that clear?
Ma'am, do we have to prepare the assessment in column form or in paragraph form?
In columns, it will be better. If you write in columns, that would be better.
And ma'am, how many points we have to give?
At see, there is no such limit of points, because how many similarities and differences you find, that is okay. But at least 5 points should be there. At least, I'm saying, if you're finding more points, then you can add on to it, but not less than 5.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can we make it in the Word file?
Whatever form you can make it. Either you wanted to make it in a Word, you can make it
Or
in a
PDF?
Word or PDF, whatever. You have to make it. Even if you don't have, you can not do it with the Word and PDF. You can also write it on the paper and click the picture and send it. Okay, so that is also a possibility for you people. But
Ma'am, will it be a binary comparison, or like I can include multiple organizations too?
means I don't.
Like, will it be a binary one, like two organizations, and I'm gonna like
No. It will be binary only, not multiple. Within a column, you are saying, no, it should be in binary form only, not
okay,
multiple in a same column. Okay.
okay, ma'am. Okay.
So Thursday you have to submit it. That is the last day, and submit it to your CR. Okay, everyone. So I don't want to listen that I have submitted somewhere else and it is not reaching to me. And CR, kindly mention it to the group also. What is the assignment, the topic of assignment, and the date of submission. Okay. Is it
Okay.
clear? Okay. Now the next part we are going to do is functions of management. Okay, we know what is organization, we know uh, what are the things we consider in the management. Now what will be the function of management? Can you tell me what it should be? Yes, anybody?
Ma'am, functions, I think the function of management is the to manage every work in an organization and manage every personnel who were involving in that particular organization of the work, and to and to give the effort, and
How to give
afternoon.
that effort? How to do that function? There may be some process.
Ma'am, proper planning is there.
Yes, very good. Yes, there is a proper planning. Okay. Then, okay. So let's start with the functions of organization. See, management is a function. Okay, management like it has something which has a uh, proper system, as we can say, means in the previous chapters also we have classified management as a science, management as a art, management as an administration. So why we have said all these things? Because we included everything in the management. We included science also in the management, we included arts also as a management, we included systems also in the management. Okay, so this is particularly a process. Management is a process through which we manage the things. Suppose you wanted to manage your wardrobe. Okay, you have to manage your wardrobe, so what will you do? You will keep the things in a very proper place, isn't it? You will make the place for everything and you will keep the thing in that proper place. So that is how you are managing your wardrobe. Similarly, when you are managing an organization, you have to make space for everything. That everything comes under a process. Suppose you wanted to prepare for your examinations, what do? You plan for it, that this is our subject and how we are going to study for the examinations. You do the planning part. So that is also we do in the management. When we are going to do some work, suppose if you, even if you are going for a holiday, what do? What do you do if you wanted to go for a holiday? First of all, what thing you do? Who will tell me? Yes.
Chalk out the plan, like the stayings, the hotel stays, and the sightseeings, everything.
First of all, you will decide which place to visit, right?
Yes.
So first of all, you will come to know, like, you will search for the places which is the best you are going to visit, and then you start doing the planning for it. That whether you are getting the things over there or not, whether you are getting the reservations for going to that particular places or not, whether you are getting rooms in that particular city or not, isn't it? So you are actually planning the things, that whether the seats are available or not. You're not booking it, you're not uh, actually doing the payments, but first of all you need to find the things, that whether there is seats available or not, whether the hotels are available or not, whether the vehicles are available or not, what is the condition over there, what is the environment over there. Okay, so lots of things you do before going to that particular place. Similarly, in organizations, whenever you start a new thing or whenever you start even the organization, then also you need to do lots of planning. Then comes organizing. Organizing means what? Whatever you have planned, you are started organizing the things according to the plan. Like I have told you to plan your vacation. So you have planned that you are going to see this particular place. You are going to stay at this particular hotel, and you are going by bus or by car or by train or by flight. So whatever you have planned to go with. So you are purchasing that tickets, you are booking the rooms, you are doing the bookings for the car, you are doing the this that bookings, everything. So this is what, when you have already done the booking, means you are organized the things, you have organized the things according to your plan. You have started organizing the things. Planning means what? It is a paperwork. Planning is a paperwork where you write that you need these things for your organization. Okay. In your house also, when your mother plans for your grocery shopping, so what she says, what she does, she write a list of the things that these things is not there in the house. These things we have in abundance, so I don't need to purchase this. These things we are missing from my storeroom, so I have to purchase this also. So there is lots of things which the requirements of the entire month. She makes a list and then she goes for a grocery shopping, isn't it? So that making a list is what? That is a planning. That she planned the things that I should have these things in my house. And on the basis of that, she made a list of the things. And then when she goes for a shopping, that is organizing the things. Now she's purchasing the things according to her planning, according to the list. She started purchasing those things. So that we called it organizing. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, staffing. See, at house, you don't need staffing because your mother is the one who is doing the entire things, and you may have a few helpers at home. But in organization, you cannot do everything alone. See, your mother is also a manager of your house. Okay. She manages your house very well. But in organization, a single manager cannot manage the entire house, in entire organization. So they need people to join them to do the other works, to do the core works. So they need staffing. They need people for the organization. They, if you have planned for any organization, you have planned for a series of work. Organization, what they do, they work for 24/7. They work non-stop. They work for a goal. They work for an objective. We have studied that in organization. What is organization? They have a mission, vision, isn't it? They have those things. So to achieve those missions, to achieve those visions, to achieve all the things, you need people to work for your organization. Now, how you will do that staffing? You will do that staffing on the basis of what? On the basis of your requirement. Okay. What is your requirement? What kind of a staff do you want? Suppose if you have opened an industry where you are manufacturing clothes. Okay, so what kind of a staff do you want? You want a weaver who can weave the clothes. You want somebody who can do the tailoring job. You want somebody who can do the packaging job. So this is how you need people according to the need of the organization. So on that basis, you are doing staffing. If there is engineering, if any organization does some engineering work, so they want engineers. If some organization are into IT sector, so they want software engineers for their organizations. So on that basis, they are doing the staffing of the people inside their organizations. Then come directing. Directing means what? Directing means how to perform that work in order to attain the goal of the organization. Okay, you have recruited the people inside the organizations, but how will they perform the work? So you need to put some kind of a directions to them that you have to do this work, you have to do within this time, you have to complete this work within this period of time. Okay, so this is what this is the directions you have given to them. Okay, like today I have given you one assignment. I have told you that you have to do the assignment like this. This is what I have given you a direction, isn't it? I've directed you how you are going to give your assignment and how you will score your CA2 marks. So this is the direction. So that is what they are doing. They are providing a direction that how they are going to perform the work, what they are supposed to do. So that is we call as a direction. And then comes controlling. Controlling means what? That whatever the planning you have made, whatever the direction you have given to the employees, whether they are going according to that or not. If they are doing according to the plan, then they are under control. If they are deviating from the plan, if they are deviating from the directions, then they need a control. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can just go through these 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs. Just go through this and see if you can understand. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
please discuss the last paragraph.
For theoretical purpose, it may be convenient to separate the functions of management, but practically these functions are overlapping in nature. That is, they are highly inseparable. It is saying that here you can see the planning. As I have told you, the planning is the written part, or it is the paperwork. You can say that there is a paperwork where we do the planning, that we need these all things. Now, you can say it as separately, but they are also overlapping each other. Every time we need planning, every time we need to organize the things. Without planning we cannot organize, without organizing we cannot plan. Okay, so they are overlapping each other every time. They are a continuous process. Okay, they are inseparable. In any organization, this is a continuous process and this cannot be separated from each other. Every time you need planning, every time you need organizing, every time you need staffing also, because there are various people you are hiring. Some used to left your organization, some getting retirement, some getting transferred, isn't it? Some you fired them because they are not performing well. So every time you need the staffing, every time you need this directing and controlling. So these are the overlapping things. It is a continuous process which goes on and on for each functions of the organization. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay. So here you can see this diagram. Here it is very well shown that how it is interconnected with everyone. Planning is also helping in direction, because with the help of planning only you can come to know how to perform. With the help of planning only you can know how to do the staffing. With the help of planning only you can know how to organize the things. And controlling is also done on the basis of this planning, because here only you have set a benchmark. So on that basis you are doing the controlling. Then organizing is also dependent upon controlling. Organizing is also dependent upon staffing. Organizing is also dependent upon directing, isn't it? So everything is interconnected. Everything if you see, it is interconnected to each other. We cannot separate them, that we have another planning department. We don't have departments of this: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Every department is performing all these functions. Okay, we have seen departmentalization in this organizational structure. So have you find any planning department in the organizational structure? You can have a research and development department, but you don't have a planning department for it. Okay, so that is actually the main functions over here. As we can see in the pyramid, the top level management, what they do planning. Then the middle level do the organizing, staffing, and directing the things. And controlling part goes to the lower level management, where they used to control their workers, they used to control the qualities of the product, they used to control the uh, working conditions. So that is done by the lower level management. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So just go through this planning part, see if you can understand this part. What is planning? Is it done?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone has done this?
Yes, ma'am.
So have you all understood
Yes, ma'am.
what is planning? Okay. Now comes organizing. Organizing here, it is the process of bringing together physical, financial, and human resources and developing productive relationship amongst them for achievement of organizational goal. According to Henry Fayol, to organize a business is to provide it with everything useful or its functioning, that is raw materials, tools, capitals, and personals. So when you are organizing the things, the staffing also comes under organizing. Okay, when you are organizing the human resource organization means you are doing the staffing. So before that, we see organizing the things according to the raw materials. When we have opened an organization, what the raw materials we want, what the tools we want, what the equipments we want, even the chairs and tables, the fans and lights, whatever we need to organize the organization. So that comes under this organizing. Okay, then we also organize the personals. Personals means human resource, the staffs, to organize all these things in order to achieve the goal of the organization. Okay, so there is a process involved, that is identification of activities. First we need to identify which activity to perform first. Okay, because on the basis of planning we already know that which we are going to do at first. Okay, so for that we will identify which activities are firstly needed. Then we started organizing the things. Then classification of grouping of activities. Now we have grouped that activities into different classifications. Like first group is consisting of, suppose, immediate requirement. The second group is for something else, and the third group is also for something else. So here we have classified the activities on the basis of the groups we have made, on the basis of the identifications we have made, and then we assigned assignment of duties we do on organizing. We cannot organize everything all alone. Okay, in organization, the organization is a bigger unit. As I have told you that your mother goes to grocery shop and bring everything at your home, but here you, at one grocery shop you won't find all the things, right? When you are organizing for the organization, you won't find one thing available, the entire thing available at one shop. So you need different people to organize the things for your organization. Like, the staffing is done by human resource department, the raw materials are purchased by the purchasing department, the budget is sanctioned by the finance department. So there are various departments, right? Here comes the departments, which they do their functions and they perform their assigned duties, and they help in organizing the things. Then delegation of authority and creation of responsibility. Here we delegate the authority. Delegation of authority means whatever the powers are with me, I am giving some of my powers to you, and I have created that responsibility to you, that you are responsible for that particular work done. Okay, suppose I have given somebody the authority to buy the raw materials for the organization. Now it is his responsibility to buy the correct quality of raw material at correct price from correct vendor. Okay, so here I have given him the authority and also the responsibility I have created on them. Is that clear? Is it
Yes,
clear?
ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Now, coordinating authority and responsibility relationship. We need to coordinate that relationship. Whatever the authority I'm giving, whatever the responsibility I'm giving, they should have a coordination. Suppose I'm not giving you any authority, but I want you to take the responsibility. Will it be possible? It won't be possible. So, when I have given the authority, then only I can expect the responsibility from you. If I haven't given you any authority, then I cannot expect any responsibility. Is that clear? Is it clear? What happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Why so low voice? Okay. Next comes staffing. Staffing is the function of manning the organization structure and keep it manned. Manned means with people. Staffing has assumed greater importance in the recent year due to advancement of technology, increase in size of business, complexity of human behavior, etc. The main purpose of staffing is to put right man on right job, that is square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round hole. Have you played that game or not? I don't know. But there is a game where you have to put the correct shape at correct holes. So here also you have to put the correct people at correct position, at correct work. What is they are capable of doing it. Okay, so according to the Kunz and Donnell, managerial functions of staffing involves manning the organization structure through proper and effective selection, appraisal, and development of personals to fill the organization designed under the structure. Staffing involve manpower planning. One is manpower planning. You need to plan that where uh, how you will put the right person at right place. What is the right place for that person? So how will you know that? So you have to plan the work for the organization, that what you are going to do, what should be the you can say the division of work which we have done in the evaluation of management thoughts. Those thoughts we have studied, they we always come across this division of work. So that is what we are doing it through manpower planning. We are dividing the work among the people. And how we are dividing that work? We are dividing on the basis of their skills, on the basis of their qualifications, on the basis of their experiences. Okay. Then comes recruitment, selection, and placement. Recruitment means what? We are calling the people for recruitment. Means, suppose I have a vacancy, I put an ad that we need this kind of a people in our organization. Okay, so that is the recruitment process, and we get various applications, we get various resumes through this recruitment process, and on that resumes we perform the interviews and we do the selection among the group of people. We select the right person for our organization. So that is a selection process, and then we place that person to their exact position in the organization. What position we wanted to place him, we do that placement. Okay, so they then comes recruitment, selection, and placement. So these things we are going to study in detail also. So I'm just giving you the overview of it. Okay, then comes training and development. There is always training and development happens inside the organization. Then comes remuneration. Remuneration means the salaries you are getting, how the salaries at which you are got the placement inside the organization, that salary always get increased. Every year it is getting increased. So whatever the salary you are getting, that is your remuneration, and whatever the increment you are getting, that is your performance appraisal. And also there is promotions and transfers. So when you have a bigger organization, bigger unit, there you can transfer or do the transfers of your staffs also to the another department or another region or another city. You can make a transfer. And there is also always you have to give promotions every year. You have to follow this process of promotions, that every staff who is doing well, who is performing well, you have to give them a promotions. So this is the things we do in the staffing. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Okay. Now comes directing. Directing, it is a part of managerial function which actuates the organization method to work efficiently and for achievement of organizational purposes. It is considered life spark of the enterprise which sets in the motion the action of people, because planning, organizing, and staffing are the mere preparation for doing the work. Direction is the inert personal aspect of management which deals directly with influencing, guiding, supervising, motivating subordinate for the achievement of organizational goal. So here all till staffing we are organizing the things, we are actually making the things into its place. Not with the direction, we actually doing the work. Now it comes to the operational part. Directing means you are actually performing now with your work. So for that you need a supervision, for that you need a motivation, for that you need a leadership, and also communication. Okay, so here are the definitions of supervision, motivation. You can go through this definitions. Okay. Is it done? Is it done?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone has done this? Okay. So, have you understood what is supervision, what is motivation, leadership, and communications? Or do you need explanation? These things we are going to study in detail also. So, this is just an overview. As I have already told you, this is just an overview. We are going to study in detail of everything. There is a separate chapter for planning, organizing, staffing, and controlling. Okay. Now, controlling is also one of the major functions of management. Without that, you cannot achieve your goal. Okay. When comes controlling means you are correcting the things. You are correcting the people from deviations. Okay. Like it implies measurement of accomplishment against the standard and correction of deviation if any to ensure achievement of organizational goal. Suppose you wanted to reach to a particular place, you are following a GPS, right? And suddenly your mobile phone becomes switch off and you got diverted. You didn't reach to your place. So what happens? There you lose the control. Okay. With the control, what will happen? It will show you the right path, that whether you are going on the right path or not. It is just like a GPS. Okay, it is showing you the right path to achieve your goal. Okay, so the purpose of controlling is to ensure that everything occurs in the conformities with the standard. An efficient system of control helps to predict deviations from they actually occur. According to Theo Heman, controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objective or goal and acting if necessary to correct any deviations. According to Kunch and O'Donnell, controlling is the measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that the enterprise objectives plans desired to obtain them as being accomplished. Whatever done in the planning part, whatever we have fixed the goal, whatever we have fixed the values of the organization, fixed the goals of the organization, fixed the objectives of the organization, whether we are performing on that basis or not. These things we can judge according to this controlling part. Okay. So controlling here comes under establishment of standard performance. What is the performance expected from the people to control? Measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual performance with the standard, and finding out deviation if any. What is the actual performance and what is the standard performance? If you measure them, you can easily find it where the things are going wrong. And if you find that the things are going wrong, then you have to correct it. That is when the corrections are made, that is done under controlling. And then corrective actions are taken. Is that clear?
Ma'am, please repeat the last part.
Corrective actions means when you have done the comparison and if you find that the desired standard and the actual performance are having dissimilarities, it is not on a similar scale, then there may be something went wrong. then you have to take the corrective actions to make it right. Okay, so that is the corrective actions. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this functions of management comes to an end over here. As I have told you, we are going to study the detail of planning and everything in another chapter. There is a separate chapter for planning and controlling and all that. So these functions of management have all these functions which comes to an end over here, this part. Okay, so if you want, you can just go through it from planning. Planning you have done, right? So from organizing, just go through it. And if you want any explanation anywhere, you can ask me. Ask me to scroll down when it is done, okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
what is mean by performance appraisal?
Performance appraisal means, as I have told you, that when you join a company, you join on some package, right? But every year your package gets increased, and it increased on the basis of your performance. Okay. You get the increment on the basis of your performance. So that is we call as a performance appraisal. It is done by your bosses, that whether you have performed well, then only you will get this much increment, and if you haven't done a good job, then you will not get a bigger increment. So that is what they have done, the evaluation of your performance. Is that clear?
Yes, it is performance oriented job also.
Everywhere there is a performance oriented. When you join any organization, they will give the main focus is will be on your performance only. Okay, everywhere you have to perform.
Yes.
Is it done? Should I scroll down? Okay. Is directing done? Should I scroll down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just go through the controlling part. So everyone has done this?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you all understood? Yes. Have you all understood it or not? Or
Yes,
do you need
ma'am.
any
Understood.
explanation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So I'm ending the class over here only. Okay, see you in the next class. And do remember to submit your assignment. Okay, so do work on it.
Ma'am, I have one confusion.
Yes.
Ma'am, we will have to write it all in a single set of columns or two
No,
in
no,
a.
no. You have to compare between two. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
you said that we can write the similarities, we can write both the similarities and difference between the organizations.
Yes.
And like, can you say the line organization matrix, is that?
Yes. Yes.
And there are, I see that, saw that there are 7 organizations, and each and I can add at least 5 points in the similarities and the differences. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. So, Srijani, you are the seer, right? Srijani, are you there? I think she is not here. She must have left because of network issue. She was there. So, one of you please ask her to write it down on the group. Okay. Who will do this for me? Asmita, can you do this?
Ma'am, I
Ma'am,
think
she
she has
actually
already
did,
written this in the book.
already written on the group.
Okay, very good. Okay, so see you in the next class. Tomorrow is your class, right? So see you
Yes,
tomorrow.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.